So, check this out, people. Today's Sunday, and the Moass did not take place on Friday. You had all of these YouTubers promoting the first quarter coming for 2023, and AMC didn't go anywhere. It went up a few pennies. As a matter of fact, I sold the small amount of shares that I had midday at $5.75. I had bought in at $4 and change because I knew that AMC, like GME, is not going anywhere. And it's not because of corruption, it's not because of the system, it's because that's how the stock market works. AMC is not a $70 stock. AMC is probably a $3.50 stock the most, and that's on a normal day when AMC is doing well. And so the people who invested into AMC didn't realize 2.5 years ago that the only reason people were pumping it was to create a short squeeze. And of course, those who jumped in knew that it was about a short squeeze, but because they don't understand how the market works or what a short squeeze even is, they jumped in foolishly, and instead of investing a small amount of their life savings, they invested all of their life savings on a play that they believed was going to the moon. And if this stock was going to the moon, then you didn't need your life savings into it. 100 shares would have sufficed. But no. And so Scavenger Stonks is constantly making predictions about the stock. Why people follow him, I have no idea. And trades the same. And then you have other YouTubers who are new on the scene who are being followed today. And because they have a fresh face onto the AMC Moass nonsense scene, people are now following them. And the can continues to be kicked down the road. And so now you have those same YouTubers that 2.5 years ago, we're talking about phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then phase 7 is probably about penguins, because that's how much sense these idiots on YouTube make. And so you have to start considering getting your profits, people. After 2.5 years of seeing the lies, the manipulation, the corruption, not from the 1%ers or the market makers, but the very same people that you have been a part of, the very same people who call themselves apes, have sold their shares, have manipulated you, and continue to do so because they know that they are going to continue to get the views, and so you will continue to pay their bills and their rent. And that's the Moass. That's the Moass, the mother of all short scams. And the majority of YouTubers have been scammed. And those who have left because they are embarrassed, they feel stupid, they feel like shit. But the majority of them, they're just fine. You know why? Because they knew exactly what they were doing when they went up there. They knew it. And if Morant's rants is as smart as he sounds, then you should know this: he's lying to you. Because anybody that smart that tells you to buy into GME is not that smart. Or he's scamming you. Or he was put there to manipulate you. And if you don't think that on YouTube, people can be paid to go there and pump up stocks. I mean, look at the GNS CEO. Those videos that he put up on YouTube are fake. They're fake. And his stock has tanked from the $7 and change that it was a few months ago. Now, does that have anything to do with him scamming the masses on YouTube, on his channel, and pretending that those interviews are real when they're not? And the only way his stock went up is because he was involved, whether he was involved in a manipulating way, in a cheating way. He's involved in a way where he wants his stock to climb. Unlike the CEO of AMC, Adam Aaron, who's involved in the stock not for it to climb, but for it to tank. I've never seen anything like this in my life. A CEO that talks the way Adam Aaron talks, as if though he's in a market separate from the one that everyone else is, or he's in on it. And so if you think that people do not get paid to be on YouTube, I mean, Trades made hundreds of thousands of dollars on ad revenue and sponsorships on his channel. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sponsorships alone. You think Moass Rants wants to give that up? You think Tony DeNaro wants to give that up? You think Massalorian wants to give that up? You think Phil For Real wants to give that up? You think Scavenger Stonks, that lowlife, wants to give that up? You can tell by his body language alone that he can't even look you in the eyes when he gives you a price prediction. He always does this. And so I believe that AMC is going to do well, and then he looks up at you when he's talking about some other bullshit. You know, I learned a long time ago when I was a kid, because I was never a kid, I was always a man. I was a man before I was a boy. That's how life was when I was growing up. All the fellas that I grew up with were men before they were boys. And so you learn how to deal with people, you learn how to defend yourself, you learn how to protect yourself, you learn how to read the room, you learn how to be aware of your senses, other people's mannerisms, because you constantly had to protect yourself, constantly. And we had to walk in groups, always, at least 5 deep. And we were kids, 9, 10, 11 years old. But when you grow up in an environment like that, your senses start to come out, like spider senses, right? And you start to be aware of your surroundings. You begin to be aware of your surroundings. For example, when I used to go to the clubs, for some reason, people would come up to me and say, "Excuse me, someone is fighting over there." And I would say, I don't work here. "Oh, I thought you were a bouncer." And it's not because I'm a big guy. It's because the way I stand, the way I look around, the way I'm constantly aware of my surroundings. I'm paying attention to the exits, where each exit is, what I would do if the place catches fire, if there's a shootout. I'm constantly weary, like a meerkat. And that's something that's been instilled in me. And so when I read people, I not only listen to the things they say, I watch their mannerisms, and I'm constantly aware, because I was always having to protect myself and defend myself against people who were trying to take advantage of me from the time I was a little man to today. And so now I understand how certain things work. And the stock market, or these people on YouTube, are these scammers, these hustlers out there who are constantly trying to prey on innocent people who have no idea what it is they're doing. And then when people like me come along and say, hey, you're getting robbed, you're being lied to, you're being taken advantage of, they get mad at me. Not only do strangers get mad at me, but the very same people I'm trying to talk to. But if you haven't learned your lesson after 2.5 years, and you think you want to take this ride for a lot longer, another 2.5 years, then go ahead, you be my guest. But for those who have wised up and became smart and realized that they were taken advantage of, I suggest this to you guys. Get a passport. Make a real investment. Buy a passport. It'll only cost you about $120. I don't know what it costs now. That's what it cost me some years ago. Invest in a job. Hell, here they pay almost $700 a week to work at McDonald's. You want an investment? Get a job. That's guaranteed to give you a paycheck every week, at least $650 after taxes, which is more than what AMC has done for you or GME. And then take some of that money like I do, because I put about $200 a week away constantly. Whether I owe my credit card or not, I pay on it. Whether I have a bill to pay or not, I pay it. If my rent isn't due because I'm already caught up, I pay it anyway, and now I'm ahead of the game. And that's how I invest, because now I'm ahead of the game. Next month, I don't have to pay rent. Now I have a whole month where I can do whatever I want with my money. I can jump on a plane and come back and not have to sweat it because my rent has already been paid ahead of the game. That's how I invest, because life is short. So stop being taken advantage of by these fucking idiots on YouTube who are wasting your time, who are taking your money, and get a real life and invest in something that you're going to have something to show for it in the future, not just for yourself, but stories that you can tell your grandchildren. And then maybe they can do something you and I have never done in our lifetime. They can work to live instead of work to pay bills. You can teach your kids to live to work, not live to work, but to work to live, because you and I live to work. But hopefully our children can work to live and understand that life shouldn't be about working and paying bills, but rather, working, paying your bills, taking care of your business, and hopefully having enough left over where you can appreciate life, friends and family, so that at the end, when you're old and gray, you don't die in front of the television miserable, lonely, alone, because you didn't know where to put your investments in. And so if you want to invest your time into your family, invest your money into your family, invest your life into your family and your friends, and you're going to get a bigger return than you've gotten from this bullshit play AMC and GME. Because unfortunately, just like life isn't a fairy tale and it isn't Walt Disney, neither is the stock market. And they've lied to you. The market does not work in any way or fashion that you've been told for the past 2.5 years. So hopefully you will learn now that it's time to get your money. It's time for you to get your profits. It's time for you to get paid. It's time for you to take that money out of that bullshit stock and put it into real stocks that you know and understand are going to give you a real return. Get your money, people.